Welcome back. Glad you made it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's a social production. What is it? It's Friday. It's Friday, September 20th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining me for today, if it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? These wonderful videos. You can find the entire catalog on Instagram, on YouTube, on patreon.com/RobSadri. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe on the YouTube channel for the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadri. That's once again, patreon.com/RobSadri. If you'd like to fiscally, financially support this show. Hope you're doing well wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, down south in the United States, as per usual, South America, over there in Mexico's in between, over there in Europe, Asia, Africa, New Zealand, Australia, of course, the Five Eyes, everywhere, Israel, Middle East, once again, over there in Bangladesh, over there in India, 1 billion of you, all over the place, over there back in Europe, once again. Back in, were we Portugal? Are we in south of France? Maybe. Drinking the Chardonnay? Maybe. Having a little croissant with my wee little croissant. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are in and around this beautiful planet. Lots of exciting things, of course, are happening as per usual. Let's get right into it. Let's get a sippy of the old coffee. There's so many things, exciting things are happening. We're getting more connected together as a society, as a global entity. We're becoming more and more interconnected. Lines are being drawn closer together, but also lines are being erased. What was once personal is now becoming public. What was now once public is becoming personal or something. Now, I don't know what we're going to do today, but we'll see where it takes us. Got a few subjects on my mind that I'd like to discuss with you guys and gals out there, of course. As you all know, there's so many exciting things happening. It's exciting time, but it's also time that we must stay vigilant. Vigilance. You got to be on the lookout. Look over your shoulder. Look over there in front of you. Because they say knowledge is key, and key is power, and power is money, and money is sexy, and sexy goes full circle back to knowledge, and knowledge is it's all interconnected, but it's also sold separately. Batteries not included. So it is a whole lot of things. It's election time down south in the United States. Over there in Canada, maybe it's time we get an election in Canada, because it's been like 9 years of liberals run the country, making everything expensive, out of reach for love. So many things you got to be, but at the same time, you got to be careful of what's coming in, what's going out. Again, that's going back to information and influence, and what's influencing our information. Now, sometimes it happens domestically. Sometimes that's like, all right, that's family business. But sometimes it happens from all across the globe over there doing things. Nefarious agents. That's the old shoot under the right there under the leg. Right there. Things are happening. Like what? You said, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, dirty Iranian agents. Dirty Iranian agents are apparently selling information to the Democrats. Selling information about Trump to Democrats, the dirty Iranian agent hackers. Because they want to influence things. Stirred, not shaken is the way I like my coffee. Johned, Bames Johned. Dun, 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 dun. Dirty Iranian agent hackers are selling information to the devil. That's what I heard. That's what I read. Allegedly, everything you hear here is based on allegedly, because so I do a little bit of readings, puts it in my brain, digest it a little bit, try to make sense of it best as I can. I put it out there, and I hope you leave a comment what you think. But that's what's good. So we have interference. And that's not new news. That's something new. Countries, different governments go, they do things with one another, sometimes cooperatively, sometimes against one another. And that's the time when you want to be paying attention, when they're not allies. But how do we turn? Because sometimes people, historically, we've had situations where countries were axes, or countries where governments were, foes, but then they turned best of friends. The example, the West with, United States, Germany, great, or the rest of the world, Germany. I really love Germany now for the most part. I really love Germany. Germany's cool. I really love beautiful cars, beautiful men's and women's, a lot of BDSM maybe, a lot of sexual activities in the Germanias. That's the hey, yes. Another one, Japan, what was once again, power structures coming head to head. Anyway, but the time passes by. You'd be surprised at how close relationships get after a little bit of time. And they say time heals all wounds, or, you bring in manufacturing and technology and a new set of ideas and governance, and who knows who could be friends with who and doing what sort of businesses. The world as a whole, it's what may seem like something that's unattainable at the moment, and for the most part, yes, with certain governments, absolutely, the way they are, definitely, yes, there needs to be some sort of a regime change, and some sort of, Middle East needs to, but how do we go about doing that? These are all the questions, because that's the thing, they'll be getting in there, trying to play with our election, they're trying to play with our erections, man. They're trying to conduct erection interference, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna stay here and let somebody all the way over there in the Middle East mess around with our erections, man. If you're trying to mess, because I'll tell you, I wake up in the morning and hard as a rock. Ain't nobody interfering with this erection, and that's the way I want you guys and gals to feel too. Ladies, I want you to get up, clit fully erect, nips, fucking diamond nips, dude. You can fucking cut glass with that shit. That's how I want you to be. Free nips and free clits, erect like the free birds in the sky, but free clit birds. But that's what's happening. A little bit of that is going on in the world, so you got to be mindful of these little things. I read that nefarious governments want the liberals to win or the Democrats to win. Obviously, I think it's, for reasons, some of it may be clear to us, some of it may not be clear to us. I suppose they think that if Donald Trump or the Republican Party gets in, they're going to have much more difficult. They're not going to be getting $6 billion worth of money so they can just go splurging on terrorisms and whatnot, and the spending on, the Hezbollahs and the whoever else is. So that's a lot of things are happening. So that's, that's how do we nip it in the bud? Because at the end of the day, despite the fact that we might have sides within our governance, we might have a left, and we get together, and if we find out there's going to be any sort of interference internationally, if there's any sort of information that's going to get leaked, we make sure that we feed them not good information. That's as far as I got with it. Just be like, yeah, Donald Trump likes, Nutella. Give him that. That's stuff that they can't really, maybe be like, all right, well, what are you gonna do with that? And for nothing. You can't do anything with that information. But we can do a little bit more of that, or whatever else. But it's just things that we're all aware of, little by little. That's the thing. It's interesting stuff. It's international relations. Public relations, international relations, domestically, internationally, people getting along, people doing deals behind. It's exciting stuff. But lots of events are happening in and around the world. I'll say this, let's get a sip of this and get right into it. It's a rough time for some people. It is a rough time. It is a rough time right now for, speaking of Hezbollah, it is an extremely rough time for Hezbollah right now. Shout out to the Mossads, because the Mossads be getting in there. Mossad is, from my understanding, I don't know too much about these things, but I do like spy movies and movies with espionage. And the big names are always the CIA and MI6 and MI5 and, high five, and, but the Mossad is one of them bad boys too in the game, one of the good ones, one of the good bad guys, one of the bad, not bad guys, but like, you know what I mean? Like they're badass is what I mean. Because they be fucking Krav Maga, one of the deadliest forms of martial arts. And that's the underleg shot right there. For accuracy, make sure you jump high enough and reach under your knee. Shoot from under the knee. Use your hips. But the Mossad has been doing some activities right now. I'll say that who is it difficult for right now? It's difficult for Hezbollah right now to conduct phone sex. It's become extremely difficult for Hezbollah, and it's, despite the fact that they're adversaries, you still, because phone sex is a major part of, at least not, if not a major part, a good component of our daily lives. I'll say this, going back to it, phone sex when I was younger with the girlfriends on the phone, and what are you wearing? And then what are you wearing? And then let's get under the sheets and do stuff on the phone. That was fun times, good times. So people do it in their relationship, right? You might be at the office. You're like, what is this? If you're not familiar, if you've not done it, I recommend it. If you're at work, you got like if you got an extra long lunch break, take your lunch. Call your girl, call your man, call your sex robot, make it happen. It's exciting. But it is extremely difficult for Hezbollah right now to conduct phone sex. Why? Because that's the thing. They were getting, I'm assuming, I don't know too many, I barely know anything about anything. And that's the beauty of this show. We don't know anything about anything. But I believe they were looking for new forms of communication to be able to communicate together when they're going out on their missions. But then I'm assuming at one point or another, they figured that the new news are no bueno. They get tracked, they get hacked and all that. So they're like, we gotta send Mohammed over there to find us a new batch of communication devices. And then I would assume it went down something like this. Bibi, Mohammed, I need you to go to the market to pick up some good communication devices, ones that are not easily traceable, some that cannot get hacked easily. How you say spyware? No, not any of that. Get in there and find some good communication devices. Mohammed goes to the market, does a little bit of research, comes back, reports back to the other Mohammed. Mohammed, I've got great news. Great, Mohammed, so great to see you. What have you got there for me? Hamala. Mohammed, one that went out to the market, comes back with new devices, walkie-talkies and pagers, which is communication from the 80s and 90s, which is kind of retro. I'll give it up to, retro vintage vibes. You know what I mean? Because everything is cyclical, whether it's fashion, you go skinny, you go bootleg, you go bell bottoms, and then baggy, and then back to skinny, and then bootleg. And so don't throw away your clothes is what I'm trying to say, because everything comes back. Or just stick with one thing. Honestly, straight leg is always a winner. You can never go wrong because it's always in. Straight leg is always in. But let's not get sidetracked. Unless everybody's into bell bottoms and you're the only one with straight legs, and now all of a sudden you're like, we're gonna have a great sex party. Whoever's wearing bell bottoms gets to do it doggy style. If you're wearing bootleg, you're not wearing any, if you're not wearing that bell, you ain't getting any doggy. You're looking at yourself and you're the only one wearing straight regular cut, and you're like, damn it, should have invested in some bell bottoms. And you look like a fool, and everybody's like pointing to you, this guy, this lady with a straight cut bootleg jean. You're not gonna get any anal or vaginal. Them's the rule. They're like, nobody told me, but guess what? It isn't fair. Nobody did tell you. It's not fair. And that's one of the lessons of life. Life is not fair. You should have known better. If everybody's wearing bell bottoms, you know? But the point is, Muhammad comes back from the market. He's now grabbed a few new communication devices, hands them out, thousands of them, hands them out to the boys. Oh, Muhammad, this is for you. Muhammad, this is also for you. Other Muhammad, this phone is also for you. Muhammad over there, phone for you. Habibi, phone for you. And they hand out, they distribute thousands of walkie-talkies amongst the thousands of Muhammads. And it's beautiful. And then they go about their day. They're doing little, they're doing the regular activities. Some of them might be like, when are we gonna meet at the local hookah shop to discuss the infidels? Out. Over and out. Say over and out when you finish talking, because I need to know when it's over and out. Over and out. And Muhammad was like, I meet you at 5:30 at the local hookah shop. Over and out. Habibi, at 5:30, no go for me. I got to drop off the kids. Maybe push it to 6. How's 6 for you? Over and out. 6 is okay. Habibi, you got to say over and out when you're finished, so I know that you're finished with the talkie. And so that happens a little bit. And those are just regular daily activity. The most beautiful part is that when they're conducting the sex talk, when they're doing the sex talk on the pages, the pager might read something, the meeting for the infidels, discussion on infidels cancelled, pushed to Wednesday, Tuesday, no good, I got to do Pilates. No good, I got to, a bunch of the Mohammeds were reading under a tree, were settling down, do a little bit of yoga, stress relief, all the good. We get back tomorrow on Wednesday, we meet after prayer, of course. Voila. Get in. But that's the thing. It's difficult now. It's difficult because these are devices that they got. They were using them. Muhammad would be on the walkie-talkie. He got the message from the whoever. Hussein, what are you wearing today? 15 layers. Oh, naughty boy, naughty 15 layers. That is hot. Tell me, go slow, but tell me, okay, let's do this together. Yes. Tell me what you're wearing first and start slow, yeah? 15 layers, and now what is the first layer? It's a long overall, eh? Nice. What you got on them feet? Sandals over and out. Sandals, he's wearing the sandals. This is so, okay, Habibi. Go one more time, but slower. What you got under the 15th layer? Go slow. You got another layer, 14th layer. What is that one? Long, just one piece again, all from head to toe. One piece. 14. That is hot. Okay, go slow. Buttons, no zipper on the back or no zipper on the back, eh? No, just you put it's like you just got a neck hole, you just pull it over your head, no zipper, no button. I know the one, I got one, matching ones. I think we bought it together actually. It's very nice. Okay. Oh, things are getting hot. Over. Baby, let's get this going. What are you wearing underneath the 14th layer? Oh, 13th layer, and what is that? Another, are you working with a t-shirt now? Or another overall, head to toe, that is incredibly hot. My goodness, I'm getting hard as I speak with you. Over. Habibi, what are you wearing underneath the 13th layer? Another layer, oh, what a magical, beautiful. Oh, this is very, very hot. And I'm not just talking like sexy. It must be very, like it's already you do know we live in the Middle East, right? Very hot in here. So but it is hot. 12th layer. What are you wearing under the 12th layer? Over. Habibi, what are you wearing under the 12th layer? Another layer. Holy moly, what is that? Are you now working, did you just wear pants from there, maybe no top? Is it just pants? Another full length body suit, wow, that is, so, this, and then they're getting into it. And so now we're moved down to the second or first layer. Bibi, what are you okay? This took a long time for us to get here. But we are now on the second item of clothing. Tell me what you're wearing under that first layer. Oh, nothing. Over. Oh, things are getting hot in here, if you know what I mean. Hummus. And they're in the middle of it. They're about to, they're about to get it on. Things are about to get fucking animalistic. I'm talking camel style, bruh. Talking that fucking double hump. You know what I'm talking about? Them desert boys with them desert gals. Things are about to get hot. As soon as Muhammad's about to reach for the bottle of lube to conduct a little bit of walkie-talkie sex, kaplow! Kaplow! Muhammad's blown into pieces. The Hezbollah Muhammad, that one. Which sucks, because now he's on the floor, and some of them dead, some of them are dead. Definitely dead ones. Some of them got injured, and that makes for a difficult phone sex. So that's part of the story that I wanted to talk about, is that it's important, if you are conducting phone sex, make sure that your devices are safe and sound. Not like the ones that the Hezbollah were using. Whoever was, and that's the thing too. You think that you're gonna, you hear a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm gonna opt for a dumb phone because I'm tired of smartphones having access to my everything and so distracted. But guess what? Your dumb phone might just, bad battery or whatever. Who knows how it got manufactured by what company where in the world? Who knows all that stuff? But that's the work of intelligence. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, because now, I don't know, how do we, because they're still they still got to go out there and conduct sex. I guess if you're not talk, regular physical sex, they can still do. But I suppose if phone sex is not an option, and you might want to honestly, writing letters it's really hot to write somebody a letter, send it in the mail to your lover so they can open it or read it and then jerk off or finger themselves. That's always an option. You could get carrier pigeons. Write the letter, attach it to the carrier pigeon, have it dropped off, and then wait on the rooftop with a hookah in your mouth. Then wait for a return pigeon to bring back, and then you could be ready. By then, you would have smoked a lot of strawberry watermelon hookah, and your hard as a rock, which is surprising because you think all that smoke would drain the blood pressure from your body, and just put it in your heart, and you might have, I don't know how it works, to be honest with you, but I'm surprised you're getting hard, but hey, nonetheless, but you are. So, those are some methods but still, it's become very difficult. I think the takeaway, the moral of the story is that it's become very difficult for Hezbollah to conduct phone sex while the phones are going kaplow. I guess you could say those phones blow. Dun, 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 dun. Ladies and gentlemen, but all that to say is that it is interesting. It's a lot of we are in the midst of international relations, just people doing things. But hopefully I'm always optimistic because hopefully down the line, maybe there will be some sort of regime change in some places, and then maybe people can start working together and exchanging food recipes instead of whatever else they're doing. So here's to the future, and here's to you. Skirt, on to the next subject. I'd like to just say this, that despite the fact that yes, technology has got many benefits, it is kind of a double-edged lubed sword. It is kind of it's a double-edged technology, just like anything else is a double-edged sword, which means that one side of the sword, one edge will be used for your advantage, which is good to, if we're talking sword lingo, sword jargon. One edge is for the opponent, the enemy. The other edge might unfortunately be, because if it's like inverted, if it's like one edge is like pointing out, the other edge is like inverted towards you. If you stab and if they've got like good, like if they've got like a good core, it might like ricochet and like, oh, you kind of like, you might like nick your nip, you know what I mean? So you might get a little bruise on your nip. So it's like a double-edged sword. Or because like a regular sword, you could just go to the bathroom, take a dump, read the newspaper, which is on your phone, so you get up, wipe. If it's a regular sword, it'll just hang in there and no accidents. But a double-edged sword, you might risk losing a testicle. And in fact, in '79, there was a whole debacle of just like people losing testicles in the bathroom because the double-edged swords were causing, unwanted cuts in the genitalia area, which is why after that, most people opted for just like single-edged swords. It just makes better, because the double-edged is like, you never know. It's tricky business. Don't recommend it, but also I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. If you're like, no, I'm a double-edged sword kind of guy or gal, then do your thing. But don't come crying once you fucking got cuts that you didn't expect. It's like that brand new cat that you just adopted from the wild. You're like, oh, it's such a beautiful kitten. Next thing you know, you're just getting clawed in the face. Same thing, but with a sword. I don't even know what we're talking about at this point anymore. But the point is, I never do, really. I rarely ever do. That's the point. The point is that I read something and I've been hearing more, and these are the things that we've been hearing and reading more and more of. Experts are coming out, people are going on podcasts, people are writing articles, and it's becoming more apparent that this thing is a thing that's happening, but it doesn't seem to be impacting. Like it doesn't seem to, I don't know if it's I'm talking about mass surveillance. Let's just get into it. Mass surveillance. I was reading an article, I believe the company Oracle is a computer technology software developing company based in the United States, if I'm not mistaken, and other social media companies as well. So there's software companies, social media platforms, and search engines. So you got the Facebooks, you got the Twitters, you got the Googles, and you got your essential phones on you that carry all these apps and technologies on them, and your computers and all that. And apparently, as mass surveillance is being conducted on the population on a regular basis, and moving forward, we're going to be incorporating with the companies like Oracle, AI mass surveillance. So your cameras are going to be now, if you got regular street cams in the near future, if not already in some places, they're going to be equipped with AI, which means even more capturing of data from the public, from the locale, from the citizens, which is something. And I don't know, I read these things and I'm like, I think most people know about these things. Or maybe I'm wrong, maybe most people don't, maybe we kind of know, but we don't. But it is one of those curious little things that just happens to be socially accepted, I guess, I don't even know, ethically accepted amongst the populace. We don't seem to be too bothered by it. So I'm just like, I guess it doesn't, like, is that a thing? Should we, because like low-key, I do kind of like, I just don't like the idea. That your phone is essentially spying on you. And not to say that like, dun, 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 dun. Not to say that they're like spying on you for like anything. It's just to like, for mass majority of public, I'm assuming they're just like taking your information, figuring out what products you like, what you don't like, selling you items. But sometimes, of course, it can, when it comes near election time, of course, they can get in there and kind of like, promote ads that'll maybe sway your vote in a particular way. These are the things that are important, or like suppress information in certain times so you don't get certain news as much as you would, so you get bombarded with other stuff when something major is going on, so you're distracted. So these things are happening on a regular basis. Phones are essentially spying on us. And I'm just like, okay, fine. If that's the thing, how do we make it so that like at least, because these companies are all taking our information, finding out what we like, finding out what we don't like, you're getting ads left, right, and center, you're buying things that you're like, oh, I so wanted that thing. You think that it's just like an innate, natural thought that just came and like spewed out of you naturally. Like you came and naturally spewed out of your mom's vag. But these things are getting in there on a subliminal and subconscious level and just constantly, little by little, edging you. Little by, you don't even know it. Right before bed, you scroll, you swipe, you go to bed, you dream. Next thing you know, you wake up, you're like, oh man, I want a fucking Diet Coke or whatever may be the case. I want a new bookshelf. I don't know why, but I want a new bookshelf. You don't even have books. Like, I really want a bookshelf. I don't know why. 2 days ago, you're scrolling and there were two hot females just giving a bookshelf a fucking, they were shampooing and massaging the bookshelf, and then you're like, oh, I gotta get a couple of books for my bookshelf, and bookshelf. You can't get the babes with the tits and the foam and they're not for sale. If they were, you immediately go there. You already have a partner, which is nice, but the bookshelf is something you can get, or whatever else may be. My whole thing is I think just moving forward, I think with this AI surveillance and just them knowing everything about us, and I would like all of us to have access, I guess, to mass surveillance. How do we make mass surveillance sexy? Is this because right now it's kind of like they'll just like low key say it in between many of things that get said and distributed amongst all the information that's out there. The weather is, apparently climate change is more threatening than a nuclear war. And they'll just throw that in there, and then you're like, what? Russia and China are a smaller threat than the weather? Okay. And your mass surveillance conducted by social media outlets. Buy a bookshelf. What? So you're getting bombarded all the time. Just like, I would like us to make, I guess, mass surveillance sexy, and by that I mean that I would like us to get our money's worth. And at the end of the day, if we're going to be surveilled, if we're going to be constantly having AI robots and cameras watching us and detecting movements and, your gaze and your straights and the gaze of the straights, walking and, posture and all that shit. How do we reverse engineer that technology so to get our money's worth, essentially? Like, how do we find? Because at the end of the day, as people, we create these things in hopes of they'll say, like, the Oracle co-founder will come out and say something, I forget his name, but it doesn't matter. It says that everybody will be well behaved, from cops to regular citizens. And that's the thing. You got cops now wearing body cams, and I wonder too. Is that a good thing? I do genuinely wonder. Is that a good thing? Or a bad thing? Because maybe the 70s and 80s, maybe we didn't have enough technology to surveil everybody, and maybe a little bit more crime happened. But when the time came for the popo to get in there with the batons and the shootouts, they could conduct the baton beatings and the shootouts, and they wouldn't be so like. Because my heart goes out. I'm not a cop, but it's not an easy job. But it's one of those things where, like, if you see gang members and all of a sudden you gotta like make a move on the gang members, you got to be careful, because your movement is not only being recorded by you with your body cam, but by all your other officers and probably by all the other gang members. They're probably recording your ass too. They're like, oh, look at this popo coming at the gang members, kind of with an attitude. So, and then that gets posted on social media, and they're like, oh, this cop was coming at gang members with an attitude, or something along those lines. So these are just, so they're coming in and saying not only from citizens but cops, everybody's going to be best behavior due to these surveillance measures. I just wonder to myself, is that something that we should be is that something that we should be striving for? Does it actually ensure better behavior? And what does that mean, better behavior, in terms of, is that to say that we're going to eliminate all sorts of crime with mass surveillance? Do we just opt for alleged quote unquote mass safety for mass survey? Because it can't be just if it's just right. Like, I want to know the percentages, and of course it's gotten way better and better. But even if you got rid of 100%, even if you got, which you'll never do, there'll always be crime. But I do wonder, what is the percentage that people will be like, okay, if it's like, what is the percentage that people, or does it not matter? Will you say, okay, if it's like, okay, if crime is reduced by 99%, then I will, gladly give up all my rights. You can read the phone, you can scan the emails, listen to the conversations, watch for what I like, watch for what I don't like, sell me products, sway my decision, interact with me subconsciously when I'm asleep, kind of sing a lullaby, but just, say a product name when I'm sleeping and my phone is next to me, so I get up and I gotta buy a new treadmill. I don't know why. Because subliminally, maybe they were talking about treadmills when you were sleeping. They're like, buy a treadmill. You get up, what? And no one's there and saying, buy a treadmill. 5 minutes later, they repeat that about 100 times. You wake up, next thing you know, first thing, before even your first smoke and coffee, I gotta get online. I gotta buy me a treadmill. I don't know why. Maybe it doesn't work to that extent, but maybe we can get it to work to that extent. Buy a treadmill. This podcast is not sponsored by a treadmill, but buy a treadmill. We can totally be brought to you by a treadmill, dude. I could do this on a treadmill if you want. That treadmill money, that fucking treadmill money, fam. Let's get it going. If you're a treadmill and you want to sponsor a podcast that's on a treadmill, look at me walking. I'm on a treadmill. This treadmill will help you shed thousands of pounds. You will lose family members with this treadmill. All I'm saying is, I wonder, how much safety do we have to get in order to be able to freely give up our rights to be surveilled? And and that's not, we should ask, all I'm saying is we should get something for it. You can't just willy-nilly get all the information of the people and not give anything back. I would like to have us either get paid for our metadata somehow, because you think it's nothing, but it's millions and you can't even put numbers on it. The amount of metadata they have on all of us collectively. They know so much about us, how to sell to us, how to push us, how to sway us, how to play with our emotions, we just take it for granted. We don't think about it, because and I get it. Most people have families, they've got lives, they've got kids, they've got a wife, maybe they've got two wives, maybe they're in the middle of it. You're just overwhelmed with so much pressure, and life is coming at you with the bills, and it's knocking on your door. And it's like, guess what time it is? The end of the month again. It's mortgage time, so you don't have time to think about whether or not you're being surveilled and what that means. Meanwhile, all these giant companies, these giant tech corporations are stealing your information and just playing with you, just dangling information in front of you. Right? Look over here. Oh, buy this. Next thing you know, vote for that guy. Vote for this lady. Do this. So you're getting swayed. You're getting played, playa. And I says to this, that the players, we can't hate the game, but got the respects to players. The rule of the player, don't hate the game, but the player that plays the game is the player that wins. If you're not playing player, then you stand to. If you snooze, you lose, and if you lose, you snooze, and if you play. All I'm saying is play to play. We should be getting our money's worth, is what I'm trying to say. We should at least be I should be getting some sort of money from all these data just being extrapolated from our collective. Or if not money, some sort of give me a free treadmill, you know what I mean? At least here, have a treadmill. I don't even want a treadmill, give me something, you know what I mean? For all the information throughout all the years that you've been posting. And some people post more than they, I wasn't a poster way back in the day or nothing, but you know what I mean? And I'm just talking about everybody's information, whether or not you're engaged on, as long as you've got the phones, they've got you. They've got you, son. They got you by the nuts. You're like, what is that on my labia? That's big tech on your labia, lady. And they know exactly what kind of tampon you need. Wide wings, no wings. You like the ones that go in. You like the ones that are just hovering on the outside. You like the ones that put up a wall and then you just remove it, and then the whole, the blood work just flows out like the Shining, like the scene in The Shining, the elevator with the blood just everywhere. But they know that, and they'll sell you the product that satisfies you, and it'll be marketed to you. But most importantly is that, again, all of this is they're taking a lot and not giving anything back. And you're like, but at least I know what product I'm gonna get from where with the best discount. At least I know. Is that good enough, or are we getting the shorter end of sticks? Because when it comes to sticks, I like the longer end of the stick. I don't know why, but I just do. When it comes to sticks, you know what I mean? Long, thick sticks. girthy, wide. That's the way I like my sticks. So, or if not that, then at least if we're not going to get any sort of monetary or like physical, tangible prize, at least regular citizens should then have access to, because mass surveillance, it means like the tech companies get mass surveillance, but we don't get mass surveillance. I would like mass surveillance. I would like to know stuff about whatever, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, wouldn't it be nice to know what, if the companies, if the tech companies and governments and intelligence services know everything about you, wouldn't it be nice as a citizen, at least, if not to know, you're not going to know ever, but a little bit more. Can I get a little bit of mass surveillance for a little bit of, you know what I mean? Because can we get it as the people? Because apparently it's not going away, and I don't think the mass majority of people don't really care. I don't think. Or maybe again, maybe we do care. Maybe if you stick it in someone's face, did you know they're doing mass? Or maybe if you really had. But at the end of the day, you gotta go catch your frappuccino and be on your way to the, again, Pilates class, because you gotta stay in shape, because you got a marriage to uphold, and it's like a whole lot of relationships are depending on you being present and available to pick up the phone and send a text, go to work, pay the bills, groom the cat, buy a new dog for the babies. That's a lot. I get it. So do people care? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But at the end of the day, should the masses, should we have access to a little bit more information, a little bit? Like, I would like to know what, if they're getting all the information about us, I would like to get all the information about them. Or at least a little bit of information. I would like to know, I don't know why, I'd like to know if, the owners of Google, the owners of all these social media, I would like to know what is your favorite color. I would like to know your pant size. I would like to know what your diet is. I would like to know your allergies. I would like to know what turns you on. I would like to know what turns you off. I would like to know what kind of porn you watch. No judgment. This guy, my search is, if you look it up, which, if it's there, I told you, it's hairy pussy, and I gotta get, but the onus is on me. I gotta type in hairy pussy, because nowadays I'm trying to make it, I've been trying for a few years at least, I've been trying to get ladies to shave less, because I like a good full bush. And when I go to these search engines, I gotta type a big bush puss, and then the onus is on me now. Now I look like somebody's like, oh, this guy likes a big bush. I gotta put in the words. If I don't, I'll just get like a regular shaved, waxed, which is fine. It's lovely. I love it. I love it all. You know what I mean? But I'm like, preferences. I do like a nice. Visually, it is more attractive to me. I'm not saying that's the thing for everyone. I don't care. I love it. But that's how I would like to know. What all these, what do you search for? Every once in a while, I'll throw it in there. Fart videos, I'll throw it in there. You know that about me. I'll throw it, what do you like? It's been a while since I've been with somebody, so I like to get as close as possible without, I've got a lot of things to do. Like yourselves, I don't have time for a relationship right now. So every once in a while, I'll be like, all right, what does it feel like to hear a queef or a fart from a lady? Because it's, what, but you know that about me, at least let me know what kind of porn you're watching. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna sell me a whole bunch of shit or like play with my emotions and manipulate she's trying to sway my decision as to whether or not I want the red Corvette or the blue Corvette. I don't even like Corvettes, but I'm just saying. Or you're like, oh, buy a Mustang, buy the yellow interior Mustang, and you're just saying that because the yellow interior Mustang's not doing so well. Why would anybody get a yellow interior? Like, oh, the yellow interior. Why would you get a light color interior? That's stupid. Are you dumb? You want the kids to spill shit? And you're like, I don't even bring kids because it's a fucking sports car, you idiot. I'm like, I get that, but still, what about your friend or your or the one that you got for a few hours for, you know what I'm talking? What if they spill something? What if they come in with glitter? They always come in with glitter. The ones that, you know what I'm talking is, they come in with the glitter, and the glitter is like, you want to bring the fight to somebody, fight them with glitter. Have you tried getting glitter off shit? It is the most difficult task. If you want to like just finish off Hezbollah right now, just drop a ton of glitter on them. That thing is, I'm not going to say how or what happened in my personal life, but some glitter came into my life recently, and it was really difficult to get it off. Very difficult. Very difficult. Was I happy to see it at the time? Yes, of course. It makes all the curves more glittery, but it doesn't matter. But it's still the one. But once that time is for everybody to depart and everybody does leave, I'm not saying nothing about nothing in terms of like what, how, and I'm just saying glitter ended up in my life very difficult. I was frustrated for at least a good 15 minutes. So, man, but that was just a little bit of glitter. But imagine a ton of glitter. Gah! If you get it in your eye, well, then you might as well go blind. You might as well just shut that eye, sew it up, and just be like, I'm gonna just go join the mole people, or just regular moles, and I'll just stick my head in the sand and be a mole because I can't see shit. Because why? They'll ask you, glitter. Your eye goes blue. You know what I'm talking about? Like the retina goes blue. You turn glittery. Oh, what are you even talking about? The thing is, I like to get our money's worth for all this mass surveillance with the Oracles and the Googles and the Facebooks and the Metas and the Instagrams and the TikToks, and they're just vacuuming us with information, selling us stuff, and they know exactly what to do. It's like they're like dialing us. It's like they got their index and their thumb on our nipples, and they're dialing it in, and they're tightening it, and then they're loosening it, and they're tightening it in times when it needs to be tightened, and then they're releasing it, and you're like, oh, I felt good. And that would have been fine if it was just innate and natural, but it's not. And all I'm saying is, I get it. A lot of people are like, I don't care if they have my information. That's fine. That's cool. I'm cool with it. But I'm like, you're getting ripped off. We're getting ripped off is all I'm saying. We should get their information too, at least a little bit of their information. I would like to know a couple of shoe sizes, a couple of, do you use a comb or do you use a brush? Do you use a, do you like to wear leather when you're about to get it on, or do you stay away from leather? Do you is there a ball gag involved in yours? What is it? I just so that at least somewhat equal, because like in terms of, there's a wide gap in the, there's a huge gap in terms of money and like, wages and all. At least have a little bit, at least close the distance, but then the gap between like how much information a certain group of individuals or companies have. At least give us a little. I'd like to know a little bit of your, what's your favorite food? What kind of music do you like? What are your, what are the cute videos that you look at? You like looking at cute animal videos too? Or maybe you don't, you sadistic son of a bitch. You power hungry, tech driven, analytical son of a bitch. You don't care for pet videos? Or maybe you do. Maybe you're just a guy that happened to be a guy who ended up in a position. However you got there, doesn't matter, no judgment. We all try our best. At the end of the day, everybody's got to pay their bills, and I get it. I just want some of that mass surveillance for the people. All I'm saying. Ladies and gentlemen, let's skirt. I believe I've been hearing this much like many of you have been hearing this. Diddy is now, I believe they took him in. I think, if I'm not mistaken, took Diddy in. Sean Puff Daddy Diddy Combs from Bad Boys Inc., Bad Boys Record, majored producer, rap mogul, sort of, mover, shaker, freak off party coordinator. He's been apprehended. He's now sitting in jail, if I'm not mistaken, until things get sorted out. There's a lot of allegations for sex trafficking, for all sorts of assaults and whatnot, sexual assaults. Again, allegedly, all these things. I don't know much. I read things, I hear things. But the most important thing, or at least one of the most important things that has come out recently when they apprehended Sean Diddy Combs, is that there was 1,000 bottles of lube. 1,000 bottles of lube that was also, I don't know if it's been confiscated, but that's just what, and that is a lot of lube. 1,000 bottles. That's one of the most interesting aspects of all. Like, there's so many other things, of course, and my heart genuinely goes out to whoever was. Again, I don't know much. I don't know. Allegedly, all these things, until everything gets sorted out, I still like to, we'll see what happens with everything. And again, all I'm saying is 1,000 bottles of lube is a lot of, because I was just doing a quick search on like how much, from personal experience, I should have already known this, how much a bottle of lube, how long will that last you? An average person will probably go through a bottle of lube a year if they're a lube person at all. So, give or take, maybe you'll use one, maybe you'll lose half, maybe you'll use two, give or take. Maybe you'll use three, but most people will be like, okay, if I'm a lube guy or gal, one bottle should suffice at most to get maybe two. So 1,000 is a lot, and I'm just like trying to, place myself in the position of, the guy that goes and buys lube for Diddy, the lube guy, Diddy's lube guy, because you've seen him on his shows. He make people go buy stuff, go buy me cake from that cake store downstairs, from the cake store, bring the cake over, So the guy that's putting in the orders for the, giving a call or like do you drop by first? Or you can't just drop by somewhere and be like, give me 1,000 bottles of lube. That's so much lube. You got to make a phone call. You got to send an email. Calling on behalf of Sean Diddy Combs from Bad Boy Inc. Yes, Mr. Diddy would like to put in an order for 1,000 bottles of lube. No, no, you heard me right. That's 1,000 bottles of lube. Yes, personally speaking, I think that's excessive as well, but what do you mean he should start by maybe 10? Because 10 is, you're saying 10 is plenty for a lot of people. 10 is a lot of, no, he specifically said 1,000. You don't have that in stock. Hey, how much can you give me right now? 100 is all you've got right now, because that's like, no, he wants 100 bottles. You're saying is way more than enough for a lot of people. No, I hear that, but he specifically wants 1,000 bottles of lube. No, I hear you. It's a lot. It's a lot of bottles. I get it. So you would make that phone call, end up with 1,000 bottles of lube. Some of it may get used up. Some of it, I'm sure, is just sitting. They found 1,000. I'm sure maybe you probably got more, and they found 1,000 because they probably used a lot more. And then they found 1,000. He must have had thousands of bottles of lube, which is crazy. How much lube are you? How much? Really, I'm just curious. The numbers, 1,000 bottles of lube. That's insane. That's so much lube. There's a little bit of it goes a long way. A little bit of it goes a long way. 1,000 bottles of lube is like, that is way beyond overkill. What are we to do with these? What's gonna happen? You can't. It's not like cocaine, which you can just like take it from a cartel and be like, now we just took in $3.5 million worth of street cocaine and nothing to see here with this. And then you're like, what happens to the cocaine, man? You know what I mean? Can we chop it up and put it back into the market? That's cocaine. You can easily do that. Not to say that happens, but what are we to do with these 1,000 bottles of lube? How can we move forward with extra bottles of, because again, you get a little bit of it, you're just slipping and sliding all over the place. Could we maybe, could we put them to, I say we put them to use. Let's make the freak-offs were no bueno, because there were apparently some people were coerced and some people were allegedly trafficked, which I'm not aware of any of these things. But I'm saying now we've ended up with surplus lube. That's extra lube. And you know what I learned as a young man in life? Someone said it to me. Maybe it was parents, maybe it was teachers, acquaintances, just my elders when I was growing. They said wastefulness is not a good. It's not a good thing to. It's not good to be wasteful. It's not a good virtue to have. Finish your food. Don't waste. Don't waste when you're making your arts and crafts. Don't waste the glue. They say that use efficiently, use properly. Don't just go splurging all the. They said that back in school days. They're like, make sure you don't use too much, but don't use too little so it falls apart either. We got to keep this thing on display for at least a month so your stupid parents can come and take a look and be like, oh, look what little Johnny just made. It's a tiny dragon. But the point is that you're not, what I learned at a young age is that you're not supposed to waste. And I'd hate to see extra lube just going to waste. So I know these freak-offs were not consensual, allegedly, or some of them were coerced, or maybe some people were trafficked. But I'm just saying now we've ended up with 1,000 bottles of lube. I say we hold our own freak-offs, but make an announcement. People who consent can show up, and we should use these bottles. It's just too much, because you don't want, and that the lube might go bad. I'm actually not sure, to be honest with you. I don't know what the I'm sure it's got an It might expire. I don't know if it will or not, but I don't want to risk it. I just say we make it an evening or two, or make it a weekend, or again, it's a lot. It's a lot of lube. We can make it a whole year's worth of just a whole bunch of people getting in consensually, showing up, doing freak offs, but like, you know, having a good time, but like knowingly, you know what I mean? Show up knowingly and freak off. And like, there's, you know, have a block party, but instead of food and music, it'll just be like, music will still be incorporated because it's a freak off, but lots of loop, free loop, because you don't have to. And a lot of times you might show up to places where like, oh, this one's gonna be a banger of a party. Like literally, we're gonna be bangers. It's one of those parties. They'll say that, and the next thing you know, you get there and they're like, "Did you bring your own lube? Because we didn't." You know, and you're like, "No, I thought it's gonna be provided by the party throwers." And they're like, "No, you gotta bring your own lube." And oh man, I'm sorry. Is there anybody that can lend me a little? No, we're not gonna lend you a bottle of. What is this? So this could be a party where everybody is giving out free lube to the party goers, and we can have like legit proper freak offs. And yeah, maybe we could throw a freak off, raise money to then donate to whoever you'd like to the people who don't have access to lube. The one of the, you know, in the beginning, when I just started this, I was extremely naive and still am to a good extent. I was just going through life being very naive about a lot of things. At one point, I do believe I believe in doing the right thing. I believe deep down inside at the end of the day, and with that being said, I believe the right people here to look out for are the people who don't have access to lube. And there are thousands of men and women out there who are working extremely hard in conditions that you and I would probably die in. Like, I mean, 3 hours of whatever job they're doing, you'd be dead on the ground. Maybe they're in a tunnel digging for something. Maybe they're in outer space trying to do you know, tests under jism to see how different levels of gravity interacts with jism. Maybe they're in the depths of the ocean, and not just the regular ocean. I'm talking about the ocean that's beneath the ocean, because like apparently we have oceans we've got the regular oceans, and then there's apparently larger oceans beneath if you dig, because once you get to the bottom of the ocean, the ground level, you know what I'm talking about? Sidewalks right there. You dig underneath that, I don't know how much deeper, but there's more water underneath that, even more water. So that you thought it was only 75%, 80% water. Apparently this whole thing that we're floating on is all water. It's all a big waterworks, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, we are wet. We are wet beyond our wildest dreams, and I hope you're wet. That's all I'm saying. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me once again. It's been a pleasure. As per usual, it's Friday. Get out there, have some fun. In the meantime, spread the word, talk about it, pass it around. It's Instagram, it's patreon.com/RobSadri. It's YouTube is where you can find these videos. Subscribe on my channel, help your boy. It's an independent little show. It's the little show that can and will, but little by little with your help. And I'll see you guys next week. Get out of here. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.